The best of money matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dared to disrupt the status quo, find a gap in the market to find the right business. I'm Nadiah Koh. Today we're stepping into a world where pet care meets thoughtful design and science-backed routines. And one such place is Inuhomes. Inuhomes is on a mission to create a home away from home for our four-legged friends. With a philosophy built on enrichment and welfare, Inuhomes is redefining dog care beyond basic needs. So how are they providing a healthier experience for pet owners and their furry companions? Joining us today to share more is Goh Yan, the founder and director of Inuhomes. Hi Yenda, welcome to the show.
Hi Nadiah, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you. All right, Yenda, what was the exact moment that inspired you to open Inuhomes? And is there a reason why you named it Inuhomes? Any connection to the Shiba Inu?
So a bit of background on me is that I've been in the animal industry for almost 10 years now. I studied veterinary bioscience in Ngee Poly, and then I furthered my studies in Western Australia, in Murdoch Uni to be specific. I kind of came back to Singapore, and during that time, COVID kind of happened. And I realized that a lot of spending habits kind of changed, and I was traveling quite a bit, and everyone was. So when I was traveling, I would often thought to myself, hey, what about my dog? They're very needy creatures, right? So I wanted to fill in a gap in the industry to provide a care to pet owners and their pets so that, they have a home away from home when they travel. And also more on the name, Inuhomes, Inu actually means dog in Japanese. And as you might see, my brand is very associated to Japanese design and care.
So how is Inuhomes different from other pet daycare places that are currently available in Singapore?
Good question. Actually, essence, Inuhomes is still a daycare. Different daycares in Singapore have, different unique selling points. Some has a focus on dog walks, going to different places in Singapore like Clarke Quay or, the MBS area. Some have a focus on swimming. At Inuhomes, we really focus on welfare and enrichment. Basically, with a lot of natural light, big open free roam spaces and anxiety calming music, I really want this place to be a safe and controlled environment for your dogs to make sure that they have very little anxiety and they can stay calm.
So speaking of natural lighting, enrichment programs, what does a typical routine for a pet dog that stays in Inuhomes look like?
Okay, so a typical routine for a dog that stays at Inuhomes, we actually first start with a mandatory assessment. I feel like most good daycares in Singapore do a assessment for checking signs of aggression and or extreme anxiety for dogs. It's actually very important because it's actually more dangerous to have anxious dog than an aggressive dog. Because most of the time for anxious dog, you will not be able to really predict the signs for when it will bite you. So basically this assessment is very important to check to create this safe environment for dogs. So we tend to have the dogs on leash for 15 minutes, off leash for the next 15, and then we observe how they interact with the playgroup or with other humans. Then afterwards, we would, intake them into our unit or facility.
So you've got that assessment that you have for the dogs before you integrate them into into Inuhomes. Okay, so Inuhomes prioritizes dog enrichment and welfare, as we mentioned earlier, creating a stimulating second home with ample natural light. How does this emphasis go beyond what traditional dog daycare or boarding facilities usually provide?
Well, I always carry on this philosophy that a bored dog is a frustrated dog. Frustration brings out bad habits, and bad habits bring out to bad behaviors. Dogs are intellectual creatures. They are similar to kids nowadays. Most Singaporeans are too busy. They're working hard to support themselves and their family, and it carries on to, pet owners as well. Most of the time when dogs are not properly stimulated, they get bored, and then parents are too busy to bring them out. So they tend to do bad behaviors like tearing up your furniture or marking your whole home, stuff like that. But dog daycares, it's really important to socialize your dogs. They will learn how to identify other dog boundaries and even human boundaries. And this also is very important because it can help prevent alterations to your dogs in the future and basically help correct their socialization behaviors.
So if I'm a parent and I want to bring my little puppies to Inuhomes, can you share an example of a popular or very effective enrichment activity at Inuhomes and why it resonates so well with the dogs?
Yeah, the most simplest food enrichment activity you can do for your dog, I think all pet owners would know, is to walk your dog. It's very important that you at least do. Okay, so for small dogs, you have to walk twice a day. Yeah, so you have to walk 15 to 30 minutes. And for bigger dogs, you have to walk them for 2 to 3 times a day. It's from 30 to an hour, roughly. But this is really dependent on your dog's energy level and age, of course. It is very important that you do the walks because, one, they can do like natural behaviors such as scent finding, and then also like basically expending their energy so that, they have less energy later on, so they can help ease into sleeping or resting.
Okay, this is a little left field, but what happens if a dog refuses to take a walk?
Oh, I know. I have a very introverted dog too, so I totally understand what you mean. Well, there's different enrichment activities that you can do. I think one popular one for introverted dogs is that they still love to find scents. So you can do a simple thing where you spread kibbles around your room, let them find the kibbles, just stimulate their searching skills. Or you can get them like sniff mats. Basically, we do have these activities at Inuhomes just to make sure that they are properly stimulated.
Okay. So, Yenda, with any pet daycare, comfort is always a key. What were some of the intentional design choices you made to create a space that feels safe, calm, and stimulating for dogs?
Right, good question. So, as I was growing up, I really love Japanese interior design, be it Japandi or wabi-sabi. I feel like this interior designs, they actually invite a lot of natural light. And natural light actually helps you regulate your circadian rhythm, which includes like your sleep cycle and basically knowing when to eat. And this also applies to dogs as well, because like natural light is very important in helping you boost your mood and also to reduce your anxiety and stay calm. As Japandi and wabi-sabi, they tend to also lean into the whole like minimalistic, lean, like kind of interior design. It helps to open up a lot of space for the dogs to roam around, and also, it looks clean and, clean and safe.
Yeah, so it's not just for dogs, because humans also tend to love natural lighting. Most of us like Zen spaces and this whole Japanese situation. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced when it came to balancing a home-like feel with well-focused design?
Well, it comes to a point where, if anyone who has dabbled into interior design or home living or trying to dress up your room, when aesthetic gets into the way of functionality, oftentimes, we try our best to make things look nice, but it's just not practical. Sometimes a big empty space is often in wabi-sabi design, but it's very underutilized. And, for pet boarding, we do have to make sure that everything's AVS approved or specific. So, we have to always follow all of this for any of our planning.
So you also mentioned that Inuhomes is a home away from home. How important is it for you to build that sense of community for pet owners and their dogs beyond just providing daycare?
Good question. So basically, I believe dog daycare or boarding is essentially a kindergarten, just for your pups. And if you're leaving your pup for hours or days even with, people, they're always interacting with other dogs, and you would love to meet the other dogs' owners, just to see how they are as people. And honestly speaking, a lot of your dog's personality is based on, the owner's personality. So I want to make sure that both the humans and the dogs get to socialize with each other, and people who are passionate about dogs can get together, do community days, and it allows them to, socialize their dogs and learn good behaviors. And also, I'm looking to create a community for Inuhomes where we can have animal communicators coming down, dog trainers, or even coffee pop-ups just to talk about things.
So what has been the most rewarding moment for you personally since Inuhomes started?
Wow. Yeah, it's been both a reward and a challenge for me, if I got to be honest. One, the biggest reward I can have right now is having my own business, to call my own. And having my own business means that I make all the decisions, but that also means that all the decisions are mine and there's not much people I can fall back on. It has been a tough time getting this business to start, but I feel very free and, not being micromanaged. That's a big plus for me too.
Right. So how do you hope Inuhomes will shape the future of pet care in Singapore over the next few years?
I feel like a lot of people in Singapore are changing. Our spending habits have been changing, and I feel like a lot of people are moving into DINK, which is dual income, no kids, right? So people are not really moving into like a traditional family formation or something like that, like getting more pets, they're traveling more. And I feel like Inuhomes is just a cog in the system, I'm just providing a service for people, providing an alternative, because I feel like dog daycares in Singapore have like different USPs like I mentioned. And I just want to make sure that in choosing one of the service, it fits to your requirements. And at Inuhomes, I really want to specialize in this mental stimulation for your dogs and learning proper socialization behaviors.
Right. So Yanda, what's next for Inuhomes? Are there any plans to introduce new innovative experience for your customers?
At the moment, I'm hoping that I can, build brand awareness, get people to know it. And I also would love to go to more pet events and get the name out. Hopefully one day I could expand into cat boarding, because I love cats too. And just bring more attention to my brand for now.
All right. Amazing. We'll be sure to keep a lookout for that. Thank you, Yanda.
Thank you so much, Nadiah.
That was Goh Yan, founder and director of Inuhomes. This has been The Right Business with me, Nadiah Koh.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.